As we speak, Republicans like Maria Salazar are laying the foundations for a Trump invasion of Venezuela, but one GOP senator is speaking out, saying, listen, if Trump does that, it will be the end of MAGA. Do you know how many times we've heard that, Rand Paul?
The pending invasion or regime change war in Venezuela is hatched by those people. I actually think Trump is the one who is least likely to want to do these things, but he's surrounded by people who believe in regime change and are goading him on. I do think, though, that if he invades Venezuela or if he approves significant arms sales, which are really gifts to Ukraine, or more welfare to Ukraine, if he does either of those, the rift with Marjorie Greene will pale in comparison to what happens to his movement if he invades Venezuela or gives more money to Ukraine. His movement will dissolve.
Okay, so we've heard it a bunch of times, but in this one itsy bitsy case, not only do I hope that Rand Paul is right, I actually think it could happen, the end of MAGA. I mean, how do people talk about that whole Tea Party thing? Although the remnants are still around. I mean, it could be. Lindsey Graham, Marco Rubio, those are the men Paul is blaming for influencing Trump to potentially take this action. But at the end of the day, Donald Trump would take the blame. The man who never takes responsibility for anything might be forced to. Is Rand Paul right about this dissolving MAGA? We actually have some polling that may help us decide. Let's start with the top line, okay? As you can see in this poll here, MAGA Republicans are more in favor of taking military action than non-MAGA Republicans. So that's interesting. That result really calls into question, though, how anti-interventionist the movement supposedly ever was. Relatedly, the poll asks what America First meant, and it's not what they said before. I guess one can evolve. 72% say gets involved internationally, but only to promote own interests. 28% stays out of international affairs entirely. Not that long ago, we would think that it would have been reversed. We're not getting involved, period, for any reason. That's it. One more finding from the CBS poll was that a mere 5% of Republicans say they evaluate Trump most based on foreign policy. So Viviana, the question is, do you think 5% would go up if we enter a new war? And even more importantly, do you think intervention in Venezuela could be the end of MAGA?
I wish I could say yes. I don't think that that's going to sway the American people enough. I think they don't even know what's going on. They believe a lot of the lies. Oh, they're drugs or this or that. They're thugs, like Miss Salazar said. But I do think that the American people get extremely upset. And I think MAGA is having some fissures about the $40 billion to Argentina, the aid to Israel, this international aid in the form of dollars. I think they're more upset about that than military action in foreign countries. But Trump is like solver of all wars, right? So is he gonna have a clean slate? Because he's ending 18 wars, but he's starting 18 wars? What's going on? Again, with the math, Mr. Trump.
Yeah, and you do wonder, are people going to care? Again, we're talking about a Latin country here where there's people who come with their own bias and think that we were always here first, and everything centers around us. They don't even believe there's a good life somewhere out there. Good people who love their children, who are decent, who they breathe and have hearts that beat just like us. So if you want to blow up a guy who's just on a fishing boat searching for Nemo, not really paying attention. Do you think people will start paying attention, Viviana?
I don't see your average American seeing this intervention in Venezuela as anything to them at all. It's gonna be like, Westworld. That doesn't look like anything to me. But what I do think is there are a lot of American companies that have economic interests that are gonna continue to fund and support the administration that continues to involve us militarily, economically in these foreign countries to, just like the US has done since like the Monroe Doctrine, it's been our mentality. It's another manifest destiny. Salazar had the nerve to say that these countries don't have a right because she doesn't agree with how they hold their elections. Well, guess what? We don't agree with how we hold our elections here. We got a lot of questions too. So are we gonna open the door for other countries to come in and start telling us how to do it? It's a two-way street.
No, we don't even want you asking that question. I mean, I don't think that we can stand that test, that litmus test. I don't think that we could do it.